this is for the one who ain't never had a love, yeah. This one's for the girl who don't feel like she's enough, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one's for the cool kid playing on the school team, crying to himself cause he never had the prom queen. Head full of wants, but they said it's just a pipe dream, yeah. This one's for the kids like me, they never had one day. The ladies always turn their cheek, but they ain't let the fat ones sing. This one's for the kids like me, kept working when they had nothing. When people try to take their dreams, they stuck it to them, please don't change. For the
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, for episode number 151? Dave, I didn't realize we were over the 150 mark. You weren't here last week to remind me.
Yeah, I didn't realize either. But now we know.
We
know. So that's a
So-
good thing.
We do, and we appreciate everybody out there that has been watching with us for these many episodes. It's been a long time since we started this, and we appreciate everyone that's been out there watching, supporting. Whether you're watching from Kick, Facebook, YouTube, X, all the above, Rumble's there too. Please do your due diligence, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening via podcast form, make sure you leave a good review. 5 stars is the only acceptable one. Anything else, we are sending Dave over there to pluck out your mustache. And if you are there, also leave a comment. That would be nice as well. So last week's show, we had a good time. Well, I had a good time. I talked to Stephen Welliever, and it was a good time. He's a former teacher from West Virginia, was a private school administrator, pushed out by the private school for not bending the knee to the woke mind virus, and became a construction worker, but now is basically an expert on Soviet and Bolshevik policies and how they're sneaking into America, because he has a whole family lineage that deals with that. So it was a really cool show. Someone that has an absolute ton of knowledge. So definitely go back and listen to that. But I want to jump right into the fun stuff right away, Dave. I want to bring in our guest. Well, I'm excited because he's basically pulling his Michael Jordan flu game to come with us because he's not feeling too well. He's a little under the weather, and he's joining us. So here he is. He is James Carrick. He is the founder of worthitorwoke.com. What's going on, James?
Hey guys, how you doing? Happy to be here.
Doing good. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you jumping on. And it's funny that this manifested from a show we did a few months ago. I think it has to be a few months ago, where we were talking about movies and giving like kind of a review, and Worth It or Woke pops in with a comment, and there's like, hey, it'd be really cool if there was a website that does this for conservatives. And it's like, yes, there would be. So really happy that you popped in and left that comment.
Oh, I'm happy I did too.
So we want to get right into the fun stuff. Before we get into like kind of our main conversation, I want you to kind of lay out what is Worth It or Woke, why did you start it, all that good jazz that comes with that.
Well, Worth It or Woke is a movie review, but it's not movies, movies streaming, and I try to get some video games in there when I can, when I have the time to do it. A review website, all from a conservative Christian point of view, but unlike places like, say, Plugged In, it's, I don't want to say it's more conservative and less Christian, but I am pretty irreverent, so I don't think that I would be the kind of person that you would see, that you would see in your mind's eye up on the pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
If that was the first thing that was asked, the picture somebody on the pulpit. I'm very snarky and sarcastic, and I let that fly in my reviews. But the reason that I came up with the Worth It or Woke is I have a big family, 7 kids, and I love movies. I was actually a theater major. I wanted to be a professional actor.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, then I started having a bunch of kids,
It happens.
so I didn't do that. But excuse me, try not to do that tonight.
No, you're good.
That's okay. Listen, you're coming off the flu game, like I said, so people will understand.
So, and anyway, I just noticed I wasn't going to see movies anymore, and I used to
Mhm.
watch movies all the time, and had big DVD collections, and always got the special editions, and would listen to the commentaries, and I mean, really study them and pull them apart, and it just wasn't happening. And part of that was, it's pretty expensive. If I take my family out to the movie, it's
It's
$150.
insane. Wait, it's only 150 for a family of 7? Where do you live? Because I'm up in New York, and for a family 4, I'm pulling in $150, man.
Well, yeah, you're up in New York.
Jesus.
I'm definitely not there. But also, you got to do matinees and dollar theaters.
Right, and you can find a way to get some candy in there.
Yeah, if you're sneaking in the candy, fortunately, question mark, one of my kids has a severe peanut allergy,
Oh yeah.
and but she's also allergic to eggs and dairy and
Oh,
soy.
you have
No
the
way
full
I thought.
gamut there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we said, well, we have to bring in on our own stuff, guys, and so even if we get caught, we have
Have a
our out.
reason.
Your get
Yeah.
out of jail free card. There you go.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to see anything for a while, and um I was with like everybody else saying, "Boy, just movies just suck. Movies suck
Yeah.
now." And then actually, I was listening to another podcast. You guys know Adam Carolla,
Yeah, Adam's awesome.
Yep.
so I was listening to his podcast, and he used to do a thing called the Rotten Tomatoes game.
Mhm.
And what the Rotten Tomatoes game is he and his group somebody would read the synopsis of the film, and then they would guess what the Rotten Tomatoes professional score was.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and he would start laying it out where, well, it's got this subject matter and it's got that, so that's probably going to be worth X number of points.
Mhm.
And so he started delineating it.
Did
And
like an equation with a mathematic equation.
yeah, and I was already kind of doing that anyway. I'd go to Rotten Tomatoes and I'd see it was this, and I'd say, oh, well, it's got this in it, this particular character, and it's about race, so that's worth about 20 percentage points and whatnot.
Mhm.
But that one time I was listening to that episode and it just kind of clicked, and I said, you know what, I'm going to make a website. And so I sat down and I started doing it that day.
That's freaking awesome, and I love it. But here's the issue. Haven't you been hearing from conservative circles, James? Woke is dead. We won, right? Didn't we win? Woke is dead, man. But Donald Trump was elected. DEI is officially gone. ESG apparently is gone. We've won. Is your website going to survive? Oh my.
How can it? Well, fortunately, I've got Disney out there who who's just going to feed me and my family for years. The most recent we just came up on screen there. The most
Yep.
recent Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
watched
my-
any of those. The
I
first two
refuse.
episodes that came out.
I refuse to watch it.
Most I saw was the trailer for the show. I didn't want to watch any more of it.
Honestly, the trailer was tame. I mean,
Oh,
the,
that's
the worst
rough.
thing about the trailer is that they race swapped
Harry.
Well,
Harry and Norman.
Yeah,
well, they
Harry
race
Norman.
and gender swapped Harry. They did both.
Well, no. Well, so that's so
It's
so you look at that, and that's what it looks like.
yeah.
Like, is Harry a woman? Is Harry a tranny? What is Harry?
Uh.
Well, you come to watch the show, and it's still ambiguous. They don't say, but it is voiced by a man who thinks he's a man.
Interesting.
At least today. I don't know what tomorrow will bring.
So
but
was the actor that plays Peter Parker memeing when he was like, "Oh, this isn't a woke thing at all," and I'm happy
Right.
there's no DEI, because he got a lot of shit for that. A lot
What?
of people gave him flack. So was he memeing? Like, was he like? It's
I
just a quote, so you couldn't hear how he said it.
Yeah, that was with Collider. I think that he had,
Yeah.
yeah, that was insane because I started watching it, and we actually go into the episodes. I mean, the very first things are, so you got those gender swap, then you got Kurt Connors, the lizard.
Yes. Yeah, and she's
She's a either black or Hispanic or a mix thereof woman. And Peter's best friend is a lesbian Asian with blue hair and blue lipstick and black fingernails. And there were some other things in there too. But yeah, it's just all of these little, it's just these little things that are peppered in there. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's
How is
not
it
woke
not
at all. I'm
woke?
so proud to be a part of a project that's not woke. He had to be memeing. He really did. He had to be
Well,
being tongue in
it's
cheek.
either that or the Overton window has shifted a
Yes.
ton.
Or
So
in his circle, it maybe wasn't that woke.
exactly that's the thing.
Because Peter was a non-binary who
Yeah.
actually thinks that he's a real spider.
hmm
I mean, maybe it's not woke for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's still his story, so it could be pushing other side things. People could be changed, but it's still
Still a
Peter
hero.
Parker's story. So
But
it's
I'm
not
waiting.
necessarily woke.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for Mary Jane to be this knockout redhead that he's smoking hot that he loves, and then when he goes to the bathroom to pee, she goes to the stall next to him. Like I'm waiting for Mary Jane to be trans.
I wish I could be surprised. There's nothing surprising anymore.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
That's that. It's like it. My biggest thing about all this has been, you know what? Like, cool. I guess they're trying to do an original version of it, whatever. But create your own characters, right?
There's
Like,
nothing original about it.
that create your own characters. If this is interesting, if this works, if this is great, create your own. And it's not like other mediums haven't found ways to include gay, to include trans, to include whatever and make it good. I always bring up Alice in Borderland, Dave, USA wrote Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I wonder how much
so
USA I wonder how much USA gave to Spider-Man, considering we're finding out about all the fucking money they're throwing out to all DEI projects around the world. But Dave, I always bring up Alice in Borderland. I don't know how well you know Alice in Borderland, James. It is a manga, that Japanese manga that it's basically like Squid Game but better. It's a better psychological thriller in that way, where they do like the killing games and stuff like that. One of the main characters is a male to female trans, and you get the backstory. They're like a martial arts like expert and stuff, and they become important after the backstory. It really is a non-factor, and they're an awesome character. You get invested. Dave, am I right? You get invested in this character.
Yeah,
You don't want this. When the games are happening, you don't want this character to die. They just become a really good character. And I just want everyone that ever wants to put any of this shit in, just go read Alice in Borderland and how that creator included something that could have went awry, and it ends up being a really good character. So I recommend going, if you like manga at all, to read it. But there's also a Netflix series that they did that I've heard is pretty damn good.
That's a different generation for me.
It's very fair.
That is
very fair.
100% fair. So Worth It or Woke is awesome. And we're going to stick, because we started talking about Marvel. It's good that we brought up Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stick with the Spider-Man theme here. We're going to jump in. We're going to get rid of your website. Damn it, James. But we want to start off. So there's some movies coming out, some blockbusters coming out that should be blockbusters, but won't be. But we'll get to that. Captain America's coming out. And Captain America apparently is not supposed to have America in it. And Anthony Mackie is doing what so many stars do and just not shutting the fuck up and letting his movie happen. Because at this point, I could sit there and, if I see this new Captain America, it could generally be a decent movie. But because he's been such a fucking moron, no, it's not going to be, because Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't great either. But regardless, it could be decent, but it's going to be scarred by the fact that he's a dumbass.
I could not believe when he opened up his mouth and that stuff came out. Because he said some stuff in the past that actually was sort of, I would say, more centered.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he could have gotten himself in trouble because he's saying some stuff that sounds actually reasonable.
The Wendy Williams show, that clip that goes around about making a sandwich. And have you ever seen that clip?
Yeah.
Where he's like, well, he checks her 100%. She's like, do you want to sit there and pay? And she's like, no. He's like, then you make daddy a sandwich. Like that, like dudes were like based, right? Like awesome.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand where he went wrong.
So I'm wondering, if you give him the benefit of the doubt, all right, based on the sandwich comment alone, that he's in Europe at the time, or wasn't he in Italy? I think.
Italy, yep, he was in Italy.
That's when the interview was happening. And so maybe what he's trying to express is that there are universal themes.
Yes.
And so he just kind of screwed up a little bit, because you could see that the moment that if you watch that whole clip, or don't watch the clip, but actually watch the whole segment.
Yeah.
The moment that he says it, you could just see his entire persona
He's like, "Oh,
change,
shit."
where
Yeah.
he knows. He's like, "Oh, I effed up so big. I just
Mhm.
pulled a Rachel Zegler out of my ass."
Yep.
I think he tried to tone it back a little because
He
everyone's
told he
doing
tri
the whole thing with like
Yeah.
the
he
Red Hulk
kept
being
trying to
Trump,
say, "Well,
and he's
but
just
this
like,
and
this
but."
isn't politics. We shouldn't, but we're just trying to make a movie. It's like, bro, I'm sorry, you have no goodwill. You're with Marvel, man.
It's too
Yeah.
late. You already said it. The
Yep.
genie's out of the bottle. Yeah, I mean, I tend to think that it's probably the way that he actually thinks.
Oh yeah.
It's just that he's smart enough to know that he screwed up when he screwed
Mhm.
up. But if you're going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, I think that's what you say is that he
Yep.
was trying to articulate something and he just flubbed it.
Yeah.
Well,
And I do
go
want to
ahead.
say this because, to be quite honest, no one cares about this Captain America movie.
No.
Absolutely no one cares about it. Harrison Ford's in it. Still no one cares about it.
It's
So
not Captain America.
exactly. So to be quite honest, this comment he made, even though like he messed it up, it's the most notoriety this movie has gotten. And the whole time it's being
That's
made
true.
after reshoot after reshoot after
That's
reshoot.
fair.
So people might even actually go see it to kind of hate watch it in some manner.
could be.
That-
Well, I mean, look at what Acolyte and all the hate watching it got.
yeah.
You know,
The only people that got to watch it were the streamers that were making fun of it. Like
Yeah.
all 60 people that watched it were making YouTube videos about it.
100%. I mean, I was getting pretty good ad revenue off of the website
Absolutely.
during that time, just because people wanted to see. And anytime that I happened to be a little bit reasonable,
Mhm.
people were blown away by it. And I said, this particular episode wasn't like,
Wasn't
guys,
the worst.
it wasn't the worst. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I mean, nothing woke happened because nothing happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just a
So,
really bad show
it was
with
just a
bad
bad show.
characters
Yeah,
and bad.
and that
it's
is-
a typical Disney Star Wars show.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's also one of the most interesting elements that we're getting from entertainment in this day and age. And maybe not in the not nearish, but later on in the future, we might not get this as much. But if it's not spreading the message, nothing happens. It's just the
No.
most boring shit ever.
Because they don't know how to do
Unbelievable.
anything besides that. They are so trained to push that there is no real storytelling anymore, which is crazy because there's a ton of fucking source material that you could pull from
Yeah.
Marvel, that you could pull for even Star Wars with the extended universe and stuff like that to
Legends,
create
you mean?
compelling stories around these things. Not Legends. Legends doesn't exist. But because Disney's a bunch of jerks. But there's so much there. And going back to Anthony Mackie for a second, you can't give him that much goodwill because that dumb speech that he made at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he was basically
You do
defending the
better,
terrorist villains
Do
the
better.
whole time. Basically, do better. We need to get these motherfuckers that were trying to destroy a city and take over the world, like nuke people. We need to do better because they're misunderstood. Basically, like you.
Half
What
of
is
the
wrong with you?
population, half the population disappeared for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while.
And they were happy
It's
about
gonna
it.
take a while to get stuff back together.
Oh my god, I hate this guy. Actually,
It's-
fuck Anthony Mackie. We got to
It's
that
just
point.
completely
We
flipped
got
now.
there. You know
It
what?
is completely.
You're
Maybe
right.
I'm hate watching it. I want to get to some comments real quick here. We got Mosin coming in. What's up, Mosin?
Yes.
Long time no see, man. Ciri in the Witcher books was a good character in which her sexuality was an aspect of her character, but you weren't beaten over the head with it. Very uncommon for a Slavic author at this time too. And, you have to remember that Ciri in the beginning, I believe, was, if I remember my first two books correctly. I haven't finished the Witcher series. I'm sorry, but she was young in the beginning, so I could imagine that you guys want to play with that. I know she grows up towards the end, and she eventually becomes a main character as well. But it's all about Geralt, and I don't want to hear anything more because they fucked everything up with the later Witcher seasons. Naichi coming in, surprised they like Cap in Civil War still aligned with the non-registration
That's
side.
a legitimate, that's
It
like
is.
part of a joke, but also legitimate because it is kind of surprising with the way America's been.
It is what it is there. And we got Naichi and Mosin yucking it up there. And then lastly, we have Naichi saying at least when Bucky took the
Yes.
shield, Bucky was a super soldier.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing.
He doesn't have a serum. He's a normal person.
So in the comics, this was what they will argue. That yes, Bucky did eventually take that torch for a little while Steve Rogers went into fucking Ishkabib. But they will tell you that there was a part that Falcon did have it in the comics, but it was a small little run. It was a tiny run by an author And it wasn't bad, but they also didn't try to make Falcon Cap. He was his own version. He knew he wasn't Captain America. He was just holding it for Steve until Steve got back. This one is got past the fucking shield by an old Steve that came back in time to give it to him in a dumb story.
This
God.
this is the perfect example of, I forget who it was when in the Supreme Court when they were talking about, you know what pornography is when you see it. Like, I can't tell you what pornography is, but you know it when you see it. This is wokeness. He is Captain America for woke reasons. Everybody knows it. Even the people who are for it know that that's why he is Captain America in this instance, and not Bucky. Bucky's story made it would have been a total redemptive arc. It would have made so much more emotional sense with the way that they did all of the other stories. This makes no sense. There was nothing leading up to it in any of the other films, any of the other series, nothing. This only exists because they wanted to check a box. They wanted to be able to go to the cocktail parties and pat themselves on the back and say, "Oh, look at my virtue. I am signaling it. Look what I did." That's
And
it.
I would say I almost feel bad for Anthony Mackie, but I don't, because if you're legit, you can say, no, I don't want this role. Like, this role was not for me. This role was not for Falcon. If you understand your character, which I imagine he does, right? He's been playing it for the better part of a decade. For a little while, Jon Favreau wasn't a dumbass, and he was actually making the characters act like their comic book way. Even though they were doing different things, they were still the characters.
Do we know how much he's getting paid?
I was gonna say,
Boku bucks.
Making a lot of money, so
more than he ever has in
I
his
might
career,
not
and more
turn
than he
that
ever
down
will for the
either.
rest of it. So, I mean, again, almighty dollar speaks, right? So, yeah, you're looking up how much he's getting paid at the time.
Yeah. When I got a mortgage to pay, I've got 7 kids to feed.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, it is a shame. And I'm wondering what exactly they're gonna do outside of Red Hulk being in there. What are they gonna pull? Because they're gonna pull in cameos, because once again, another big fault to Marvel has been lately, no single character can carry their own movie anymore. They've made it so that every single movie is an assembly movie. It's a mini Avengers movie at worst. You don't have standalones that make, you used to have someone make an appearance and they were gone, but like, your Iron Man, your original Cap, your Thor, they were solo. Those were their stories. They didn't come together until Avengers, right?
Right.
Now, and even the Hulk with Edward Norton, which is the best Hulk. I'll fight anybody. But they can't do it anymore on their own. So it's like, why? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares at this point? It's all Avengers.
Fandom Wire says $10 million.
That's it? I'm actually surprised it's only 10.
Pretty good.
Because he's Anthony Mackie.
That's pretty
But
good.
He hasn't done anything since 10 Mile. Or 8 Mile. 8 Mile.
Pay $200 million for the fucking Acolyte, okay? You don't think they could find like 30 or 40 to throw at Anthony Mackie? He's supposed to be their face.
And if they don't have to.
I mean, hey, listen, good for him. Get the bag, make a flop, and continue to freaking get paid, because you know what's going to happen. What do we got here? Nate G coming in saying Falcon isn't a bad character. Keep him as Falcon. Agreed. Falcon's a fantastic character.
If this movie would have just been Falcon, I think they wouldn't have had the problems.
No, nowhere near as much. And maybe they don't need to reshoot it as much as they have, because I'm pretty sure that budget has been astronomical at this point. So they've just been making more and more of a loss for themselves.
What do they add? They're over $250 million into this, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure.
Don't they have to clear like $1 billion for this to make money?
Yeah.
At least they have to get into the 800 million to break even, probably.
I'm pretty sure it needs to be near like Oppenheimer kind of fucking totals
in
order for them to make money.
In February?
No way.
Yeah, exactly.
No
on
way.
Valentine's Day. That's people are gonna go.
No, it's not on Valentine's Day. It's for Black History Month. The Black Falcon, Captain America on Black History Month. They're hoping that enough racist white liberal women are gonna go there to support them. Like, that's it.
No. I'm gonna say this.
There aren't enough gender studies students to support this.
Yes, yeah. People go see it. People are like, but honestly, I don't even. That's not even. I wouldn't even think that's the reason. Like, if they really want to do that, they would have done that in the first place. They've had to push this. The same thing with Assassin's
That's
Creed.
true.
Like everyone wants to say Assassin's Creed Shadows pushed it back for Black History Month. No, it's because shit's not finished. Because they actually didn't finish
Initially, they
anything.
did it for Black History Month thinking they could have it done, and now they have to push it back again because they suck at their jobs. I think first it was Black Samurai, Black History Month, even Asia.
Maybe because they pushed it back to that, and then they were going to basically refund all the we don't have to get into that, but still, what I'm just saying, I don't know if
Nothing
these are
appeals to
ideal.
black men like the black gay samurai.
And the funny
Yes,
thing
exactly.
is, I think what they're doing here too is they're like, they looked at it and going, "Hey, we had a black hero once. Remember Black Panther? People, people think Wakanda's real. Let's just get another black superhero, so
Mhm.
more black people can sit there and jump on it." And it's like, this is what they think of minorities, right? Like people in DC probably thought Blue Beetle was going to work because he was Spanish, and Spanish
man.
people would love a Spanish
I
hero.
forgot a Blue Beetle movie happened.
Exactly. Nobody
You know,
gave a shit.
I actually like that character. I like that version
He's
of Blue
fine. Blue
Beetle.
Beetle's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
They're
movie.
fucking up so many good people. So Mosin coming in here saying, is Spawn a Marvel owned IP? So this,
Yeah, that's
yes,
it's
nature,
image.
you're right saying it's
Well,
Dark Horse, but I do think that Marvel has the rights
the-
in certain ways to
So
create
I
Spawn.
no because Mosin asked that because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's under Image. So I looked it up and it's still under Image. I don't see it as Marvel like got any of it.
I
any
thought
of
Marvel got some of it to make a second movie out of it, because what I was seeing, Disney got a bite of it to go under the Marvel banner because to make a movie out of it. But it might have been rumors that they were trying to do that because Disney tries to buy everything.
For a
So
while there,
No,
weren't
I
they
think it's just
talking
rumors.
about? Wasn't the creator talking about bringing back the animated series or doing
I
a
Yes.
thought they
second one?
were. I thought they
There was a
were going to
rumor
bring
about
back
it.
Voiced by the same people, and
yeah.
Yeah, I heard something about that, but I think that kind of fell off the
that
wagon. Or
that
maybe
disappeared years ago. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's hard because with Spawn, I feel like you can't hype up Spawn because you got to get the Spawn fans there and just kind of sneak up on it. Like,
Well,
boom, here's the Spawn coming out, and then
the thing is though,
people will come to watch it if it's just there. Like,
he's
bring it there, make it happen.
a niche character.
And he's fantastic.
and I
but
can't
he's
see
niche.
him being a Marvel character, to be completely honest with you. I
He
can't.
fits in with the Punisher and
I think he
your
fits
Ghost
in more
Rider
with
and stuff.
DC characters than he does with Marvel. I think he fits in
Yeah.
there.
think
That's my thing.
It depends on where you put him.
I feel like if you're Marvel, you're not necessarily getting Spawn because it's not exactly a Marvel character.
Just put Spawn with Deadpool and have him fight over Death.
I mean,
And just make Death the hot skeleton that Deadpool always sees their ass. All right, so we're gonna keep going with a few more comments here. Squiggles McJr., what's up, Squiggles? After we said that crap, I'll never watch another Marvel movie. Fair. I think that's fair. They have a lot of goodwill to get back.
I don't
quite
watch
honest,
the
movies. I just watch Nerdrotic's fucking review of them.
It would have been fair if you weren't going to watch another Marvel movie a long time ago. Like they've been put out so many stinkers that's just like I don't really want to watch any more of these.
So Nachi coming in.
If I didn't have a review website, I wouldn't watch most of this stuff.
I don't blame
Exactly.
you. But you get money from it, so I don't blame you for doing it and putting yourself through that. So Spawn is Dark Horse, yeah, and then Spawn versus Batman is legendary. It is, because it's Bats at his best, but then again, Bats should be killed by most people he fights, period. I digress on that. And yes, Squiggles McJr. saying very niche. Yes, Spawn is very niche. I love Spawn, and if you grew up, I know, James, you probably watched the old campy ass Spawn movie live action, which has its own fantasticness. It's right up there with the Super Mario Bros. Live action, where it's just so bad it's amazing. But Spawn was great.
I don't know if you have ever noticed, but I actually, for some really bad movies, I'll make drinking games. Because there's just not very much to write, and so like the Beekeeper. If you go to my website, the Beekeeper has its own drinking game and whatnot, and that's Spawn. Spawn is its kind of movie where you just have a drinking game. Yeah.
And thing with Spawn, I think why Spawn the movie missed is they tried to be the comics too much, and there is something where Spawn is such an out there comic that if you really try to properly bring it to the screen, it's kind of what we talk about with a lot of our favorite anime. If you actually properly bring anime to the
Cowboy
screen,
Bebop kind of
Cowboy Bebop, and
it looks awful.
It does, and even Full Metal Alchemist, they tried to go really hard on Full Metal Alchemist, and they made it too campy, and it's like no one's gonna like this. Anime fans were like, "This is fucking stupid." You can't do exactly because it's on paper. It's fantastical. It's meant to be.
The only way you could do, I think, a Spawn justice is you would have to do it incredibly stylized, like Sin City.
I was gonna say
like
Sin City is the one that's gotten the closest to making it like the comic, but still look good in a movie wise.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. You can't just do a one for one.
Mhm.
Or you just get Christopher Nolan to make his little dark hue so you can't see half the movie and you're good. Just make Spawn blend in for half the movie and then you're good. Like you won't see him because Christopher Nolan, like you see, he's like dark modes everything he fucking
Yeah.
ever makes.
And then in the third one, when it's bright in the middle of daylight, it looks like Batman's got a load in his pants.
Yeah.
David, some of David's favorite lines. Where is it?
Oh, man. Christian
Bat-
Bale's Batman voice is something to behold. I
It
love
I'm
was-
out wearing hockey pads.
it.
I'm the Batman.
Fucking love it, dude.
He was great, but honestly, he was putting on a voice, and when you put on a voice like that for so
Well,
long,
I
you're
will
bound
say,
to get some moments.
if I remember correctly, Nolan did also mix the fuck out of his voice to make it even deeper and weirder. So it's both Bale and Nolan making that voice weird when he's Batman.
I do appreciate it because it did add to the element of if Bruce Wayne, the millionaire playboy who does speeches and everything, is just
Yeah.
walking around and going, "I am the vengeance." Like people are gonna be like, "I know that voice." Like,
Yeah,
what's
it's
going
just
on?
something.
You have to do something, but it just got so comical. Like it
It did.
felt like everyone who interacted with Batman when he's mad was under the scarecrow toxin, and they heard his voice is the most insane shit ever. Like, it doesn't
Have you
make any
seen
sense.
those? Have you seen those YouTube things? Oh, I'm trying to. Excuse me. Can't think of the comedian who's doing it, but he dresses up like Batman, and he fires various members of the Justice League one on one.
No,
I
that's
haven't seen
amazing.
that, but that sounds fucking fantastic.
And in one, he's the Bale Batman, okay,
Yeah.
the Nolan Batman,
Yeah.
and in one he fires the Batman, and
So
so
Robert Pattinson's Batman.
yeah, and so he's saying things like because he's so low energy, and he's like, oh, I'm whispering, am I really? Like, so he asked him something along the lines of, "Is like, dude,
Nate,
maybe
you
you
saying
should,
Pete Holmes.
maybe Pete Holmes, yeah, maybe
There you
you
Thank you,
should,
Nate.
eat a sandwich or something." As it, are you even painting black makeup around your eyes? Or you're just low tired.
Gotta go watch it. I gotta look those
Yeah, I
up.
gotta
I
look
feel like
those
comic
up.
book nerds would eat that up.
That's good stuff.
So Nate, you coming in with a few more comments saying Spawn movie, Spawn animated, have the Spawn paper trades.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You're a Spawn super fan. And he said, get with whoever produced Falling in Reverse, Ronald. I don't remember what that comment was for.
No, well, probably with doing anything with Spawn.
I mean, if you make a music, if you get Ronald Rackie
yeah.
involved. Well, I mean, Ronald Rackie just had Tech Nine and friggin' Alex Terrible on a song where Tech
Yeah.
Nine dropped a actual legitimate Tech Nine rap in the middle of it. And
Yeah.
it's a fantastic song, Falling in Reverse. So that would be awesome. You could piss off a lot of like Japanese fans and just put like Falling in Reverse to every like anime thing because Japanese fans hate whenever Americans put like rock in
Yeah.
the Japanese stuff. But it's always funny to piss them off. Anyway, I want to move on
Well, we do have more
from
news, yeah.
Captain African American, as David put it. And we are going to move on
I
to
stole that.
Fantastic Four. So Fantastic Four just had their trailer drop. Pedro Pascal is everywhere.
It's a
He is
teaser
Mr.
trailer.
Fantastic. And I don't know the other three actors / actresses. Not gonna lie.
The blonde is from the most recent Mission Impossibles.
Okay,
Mm.
maybe we should. Dave, that's on you. You're my producer.
Yeah, I'm looking.
You're the fake
Yeah.
producer. You look it up.
I can't think of her name, but that's who she is.
But so, did both of you watch the trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so
I didn't hate it.
I thought it. I like the style. Let me just real quick. I like the styling of it. I
Yeah,
think it can be good. My
You can never
only
go
issue-
wrong with that style.
Exactly. My
Yeah.
only issue is that Pedro Pascal doesn't look like Reed Richards. He doesn't feel like Reed Richards. He feels like a tall Gomez Adams. Like he doesn't. I don't see him as Reed Richards.
the
I
real
can't see
question
him that
is:
way.
does anybody really think Pedro Pascal's smart? Like
No.
honestly, no. And that's the thing and I'm not even being a dick about it because you had to have that prestige about you to be Reed Richards. Like John Krasinski looked like
Seems
a
like a smart
smart guy. Like he looked like someone that is smart but has a fairly athletic build, like he did. But you could see him being someone that if he starts spouting off equations, it's like okay. We think he can. Pedro Pascal comes at you and starts talking to you a quantum physicist. You're gonna be like, all right, Poncho, Donald Trump's coming. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna take him seriously.
Yeah, ice is on its way. You might want to
Yeah,
check out.
Exactly. Tom Homan knows where you live. But so
Terrible.
it's
Kirby is Sue Storm. My dad knew I knew her name.
So there's that, and also I saw some criticisms with the thing. Now I want to find out if you guys have the same, because the criticism is, like we just mentioned, sometimes when you are too on the nose, it looks like shit. And this is one of those where they are very comic accurate with the freaking giant
Like
brick brows,
unibrow, yeah.
that the unibrow that the thing has, where I mean the shitty one with whatchamacallit, where the twins were two different skin colors and a few years ago. And even the original one, those things look better. This thing, while being comic book accurate,
I don't.
can be fixed, but right now
I-
they need to fix it.
I don't
Yeah.
mind it. I don't mind it, to be completely honest. I don't hate it. I'm actually kind of okay with it. His
The eyebrows
voice,
could be off-putting.
his voice might need a little more gravel in it, but other than that, I don't hate it.
I'm
What do you think,
perfectly
James?
fine with the design.
Mhm.
His voice is terrible, and it doesn't look there. It's Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
He-
that's fair.
It doesn't look
CGI.
like it doesn't look like he's taking up three-dimensional space.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And so, that's not my bailiwick. I don't know how you accomplish that, if it's a
Mhm.
matter of lighting or texture
Mhm.
or what, but he doesn't look there. The robot that's standing next to him doesn't look there. It just looks like a really, really good cartoon.
Now, to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt, the first Super Mario trailer got fucking ripped because Chris Pratt did his little Yahoo and it sounded like shit
course.
initially, and Mario had no ass, and everyone ripped it for both, right? They took away Mario's dump truck and people weren't happy about it. So this could be something where here they see it, they get feedback, they touch it up. So I'm hoping that, they do that they sit there and same like Sonic.
That's
where
what I
they were
was
like,
thinking about
Sonic doesn't
Sonic.
have
So,
human
Yeah.
teeth and
yeah.
two eyes. Like, hopefully they get this feedback, and that's partially why you put out a teaser trailer, right? I'm pretty sure James Gunn was hearing all the criticisms with Soup, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't make a CW picture-esque movie here. But I think that's what they're going to take, and I think we will see some fixes with it, because it does seem like they're trying to do something with this Fantastic Four, and it seems like they can have something well.
And what's it called? First Steps.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you think that they're trying to do like a soft reboot of the MCU?
Yes.
Yes. I
because
100% think that.
You're
I think
doing
this
something
is,
different with it.
they're
too,
going to
because-
multiverse it. I'm pretty sure they're going to multiverse it, and this is like the start of another kind of universe.
And they don't have Vic. So my biggest gripe with it is Reed Richards and the team does not know Victor Von Doom, which that to me drives me crazy, because how do you not? He was in the same fucking space shuttle with you. He
Right.
was a scientist. He was your teammate. And that's where the rivalry comes from, because Victor is their intelligence level. So
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, if they really are starting another multiverse, and maybe they're kind of going to put Doom in another way, but they're going to leave out the rest of the crap that was Phase 4 and like Phase 5. I'm not entirely mad about it, as long as it's pretty good. As long as Victor Von Doom still has the same fucking hate for Reed Richards that he has, like I'm
if it
okay
develops there, if it bubbles, that's fine.
Yeah,
I could be down for a whole slew of comic book movies that are set back in the sort of pseudo 50s and
50s kinda,
40s.
yeah.
You
Just
know,
the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, well, the aesthetic, and there's a lot of technology nowadays that takes away a lot of problems that they would have back then. Just a cell phone,
Yes.
being able to
Mhm.
say, "Hey, get out of the house,"
Mhm.
takes away a lot of plot devices that you can use to build tension and whatnot.
Yeah.
It
And
does.
so, yeah, so I could be all for that. And just the mindset of people, and yeah, I could dig that.
So plot twist, there is no reset of the MCU. This is actually another one of Wanda's dreams, and she's the strongest ever, and
Jesus
she kills
Christ.
everybody because Wanda Maximoff.
Well, that's the problem, is that we talk about this and we in our hearts say, "Yeah, I could see how this could go that
They're
way."
gonna fuck
I
it
know,
up.
In
we're-
reality, we forget that Disney owns this shit.
That's
And-
we're fantasy booking it right now.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You, Alex, are absolutely 100% correct.
The Fantastic Four is going to be on the brink, but then Olivia Rando's mom is going to jump in, and she actually had superpowers, and she saves the day. And Carol Danvers comes in as she's the real savior. Like, some dumb shit's going to happen, or Sue is going to actually do something useful. And that she's going to save the day. It's not going to be Reed's brain. It's not going to be, friggin' Human Torch. The Thing is just going to go lay around somewhere with the stupid eyebrows, and it's going to be Sue discovering she has a new power, and that's how they're going to win. Like, we know we know how it's going to end. The woman's going to win.
Well, and that's I just put up today the Thunderbolts trailer onto
Oh man, yeah.
Worth It or Woke in the trailers
Mhm.
section, and I was looking around for art to use as the banner and whatnot, and everything, all of the artwork has Florence. Is it Pugh or
Pugh,
Yeah,
Puh?
Florence
Pew,
Pugh.
Pugh.
Pew. It's
Florence
Pew.
Pugh
Mhm.
front and center in front of everybody,
Ah,
right? And I'm sorry, guys, but nobody who goes to watch those movies is going to watch those movies for Florence Pugh.
no,
She
she's
might
hot and
be
all, but
she technically might be the biggest name of the group that's there. Maybe
yeah,
David Harbour, but
Yeah, but
she's coming off of Oppenheimer and some pretty big stuff.
she was in something else too. But yeah,
Yeah,
but still coming
but
off Oppenheimer.
Bucky is the number one. He's the character, the leading character that the people who are watching those movies care about. He's the only one we want to see what happens.
Bucky's the
Mhm.
leading character, and also the fact that you didn't find a way to include Tom Hardy's Venom,
Yeah,
because he is a main cog of the Thunderbolts, and also, like, I don't know, are they making it Norman Osborn's team? Because if you're trying to get any sort of comic book accuracy, Norman's the president and he makes them a team.
they're not going for any of that
Like,
stuff.
and that's the
No.
thing. Like, what are you going to do with the Thunderbolts? Like
Yeah, no,
that?
did
Like,
you watch that trailer,
no,
Alex?
I didn't watch
Oh
the
no, I
trailer.
watched it. It looks awful. It looks terrible.
Because the thing is, at least with the Suicide Squad, they kept it fairly accurate that the government agent that brought the team brought it there. Even though the first one was terrible, the second one kind of made up for things. But it's like,
No, Veep brought them together in this one.
oh,
Very nice.
Jesus
Awesome.
Christmas.
What's her face? I can't think of her name.
Louis
Elaine.
Dreyfus,
Yeah,
something,
Julia,
whatever.
Julia.
Elaine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julia Louis, who has money like God and doesn't need to be making shitty movies anymore. Can you please stop?
Hey, look, she's very talented. I'm not going to take that away
No,
from
she's
her.
good.
But
Elaine's
she is independently very wealthy, and her dad's a billionaire.
good.
And she started off being wealthy because of dad. Like she's
Yeah,
one that cannot never complain about Donald Trump not having humble beginnings. Okay, honey, you are the least humble. You probably never get on Seinfeld if Daddy's not Daddy. Even though she is talented, they probably had no idea how talented she was before she was on there. So let's get to some of these comments here real quick. Mosin saying, "I grew up listening to Tech Nine and generally don't know what you guys are referring to."
Talking about
Um,
this music video right here. That's what we're
You
talking about. Falling Reverse, Ronald featuring
Yep.
Tech
So
Nine.
you want to do a Tech Nine Alex Terrible? It's a fantastic song. If you like heavy metal, like Falling in Reverse and Alex Terrible and what they do, you'll like it. And then like in the middle, it quite literally becomes a Tech Nine song. She's like, he definitely gave him a strange music beat. They used it, and then it goes right back to being metal, and it's fantastic. Nate comes in. I'll only like it if the sequel has Elliot Page playing Franklin Richards. I mean, she's
Elliot Page is gonna be in
enough.
Odyssey.
She's
Oh.
mentally disturbed enough to be Franklin and be fucking all messed up. So yeah, maybe no, actually make Elliot Page Century so she could be like super strong, but a little whiny bitch that can't actually do anything. Like the Superman with mental disorder. Like that actually works. Squiggles McJr. saying Tom Hardy is the shit. I will try anything Tom Hardy's in because he's just awesome. One of my top 5 favorite movies of all time is Warrior, and it is every time I see Warrior. I can't fight. I'm an old man. Like I can't fight anymore. I used to. I want to go punch something at the end of Warrior every time. It's such a good movie.
Every time.
And Nate G, Invisible Woman should have been a trans. She still might be. You don't know. We haven't seen it yet.
Well, she could just use her ability to make her Schwanson disappear.
Yes, actually. Just like how Reed has to focus to keep himself together, she has to focus for that.
I mean, I figure if was it the first or second of those old movies, she was able to make a zit disappear. I mean,
Yeah, that's very fair.
Do you
Make a
think that
difference
she they always say that Elastigirl in Incredibles makes her body the way it is because that's the way Mr. Incredible likes it? Do you think Sue kind of keeps her body a certain way or do you think Reed demands it? Do you think Reed is like, "You're losing yourself, honey"? She's like, "Oh, sorry."
Nah.
Like,
get rid of the cellulite.
listen, that they gave the right woman like she like hides it somehow. So Squiggles McJr. saying Peacemaker was good too. I saw bits and pieces of it. It was funny. I thought it was funny.
I watched a decent amount of Peacemaker. I didn't finish it because honestly, it just didn't hold me for the whole season. But I will say I liked Cena. I like Peacemaker himself, But when the other characters are doing some things, I'm like, I just didn't necessarily care.
I love that
Like
Cena didn't take himself
is
too
fine.
seriously. I think that's what I like about it. He didn't take himself too seriously in the role, and he knew what Peacemaker was supposed to be, that it was a comic relief character. And
Mhm.
the action I thought was
Oh.
decent. Cena's a decent action guy. He knows he's not a good actor. John Cena knows he's not a good actor, okay? Like, he is
He's a
very
wrestling
self-aware.
actor. Yeah, he's a wrestling actor.
And honestly, I've never actually seen him in a movie. James, you're right. We don't see him. He's just
Yeah,
a
it is
walking
true. It is
set of clothes. So
Exactly right.
last thing right here, Nate G, Tom Hardy and Lawless, 5 Meltzer stars. So quickly, we're going to go around the table. I'm going to start with you, James. Fantastic Four. At this point, will you go see it in the movies?
Well, yeah, I'll go see it in the
No,
movies.
well,
'cause
do
I'm
you
a
But
want
if
reviewer.
to?
so,
Do you
if you
want-
didn't have to, would you have went to see it based off this trailer?
I would say maybe like a 60% chance, but I'm not the right guy because before I started doing Worth It or Woke, I had so far dropped out of it. I just wasn't watching anything anymore.
Yeah.
I was just watching reruns of Star Trek The Next Generation
You're
over
a
and
good
over
man.
again.
Pluto TV, Star Trek channel is the greatest.
I mean, that's it. So I'd say 60 at this point. I'm so disenfranchised, and I just don't believe in what they're going to do. I'd 60% chance I'd go see it.
Dave, what about you?
Now, me 20
Oh.
years ago, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Dave, what about you?
I'm definitely interested. I feel like
But if this trailer was the only thing you saw and then the movie comes out, would you go see it?
not by myself, but I would go see it with friends. If we made it like an
Okay.
outing, I would go see it with friends. Just
I'm saying, because I'm such a skeptic and I'm jaded, 40%. I'm at 40% because, Pedro takes like 30% off already. The Thing kind of his proportions and the way he looks, take away another few, and then just knowing that it's Marvel DEI they start off at already 10, so they built up some. So, I'll give it a 40 percentile. Now it's different too, because we talked about the Superman trailer when it came out. Outside of James Gunn being a retard after and saying stupid shit, the trailer itself, I was like at 70, 80 percentile, because the trailer, as with the faults that it had in terms of some of the looks, it was bright, it was hopeful, it was soups. I really liked what they did there. And I think, I give, as much as I dislike both franchises at this point, I gave them more of a benefit of a doubt with it. James, what did you think of the Soups trailer now that I have you here about that?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty safe. I think that they had to play it safe because of where
Yeah.
they're coming from.
Mhm.
I still don't like the suit.
Yeah, fair.
I like the tone of the
Yeah.
suit. The colors are good, and I like the S on the back, and there are things about it, but it still looks like a biker suit. But
Mhm.
maybe it'll work. Crypto. I've never been a fan of Crypto in the
See,
comics.
I was
But
young when Crypto, the cartoon, came out, so I have a kind of an attachment to Crypto the Super Dog.
all right, well, and I'm also the kind of guy who any movie dog, those scene where the movie dog rescues somebody.
Mhm.
I'm the guy who, "Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm not crying." So, I mean, I could be down for a super dog saving Clark and maybe dying. That'd be all right.
I mean,
Don't Marley and Me, the fucking Superman movie. What are we doing here?
yeah, no, I can't. I can't watch that movie ever again. I watched it once when I was younger. I can't watch Marley. and
Dude,
Me
I
ever.
I Am
could-
Legend.
I mean,
I Am Legend, the first John Wick. I can't do it.
if Crypto takes a kryptonite bullet for Superman,
Oh.
Crypto's taking a dive for Superman.
old,
Crypto-
old Yeller, that dog.
And then all of a sudden,
It would-
this actor takes off his mask. It's fucking Keanu Reeves, and he just starts killing everything.
Yeah,
It's
no, but
actually-
it would take some legitimate balls to do that, like on the screen, to have
be-
Lex actually do it. Like Lex is pissed off. He actually old Yeller's Crypto.
It'd be great
to
cinema.
get at Superman.
It would
But it
be.
would be great because it would
Yeah.
be so emotional to everybody who's
Yeah.
watching it. But it would be a character that's really irrelevant to
Yes.
any story arc.
And then it gives them a chance to separate themselves from the Man of Steel, where instead of letting Superman lose himself and kill Zod like he did in Man of Steel, which people criticize because Supes doesn't do that, right?
Mhm.
That's not a Superman thing. Like maybe early Supes, who could only jump and was a real dickhead in all of Action Comics, like that Supes would have done it. But the modern Golden Age Supes,
The one where he was hanging the gangster from the power lines and threatening
Yeah.
to drop him.
where he
Yeah.
just basically told kids to fuck off as he destroyed things. Like I love that, those comics of Supes. It's like the old Winnie the Pooh strips where he just made fun of Eeyore all the time.
Get out of here, kid! I'm working.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but the soups that everyone, the golden age, the ones that we knew and love, he doesn't kill. He's like that guy. So they could really separate where if something like that happens with Crypto and he has the opportunity to kill Lex to avenge his dog, he doesn't. And it just shows the new tone that they are setting with this DC. Now, are they going to do something that well thought out?
Yet again, we're fantasy.
Probably not. Honestly, YouTube makes better fucking Superman movies than they've made in the past years. Oh my God. So
I've got a very good buddy, and we used to play Dungeons and Dragons together in college all the time.
good man.
Yeah, and we'll get together a few times a year and start just talking about things. He's not into movies anymore because he has a real life. He's a lawyer. He lives in Korea.
Hey.
And but anyway, we'll start talking about things and we'll start talking about these movies and we'll fix it in 15 seconds. And so what are they doing? We just did this in 15 seconds with the two of us. And everybody, YouTube, of course, has that same thing.
Could you imagine if these individuals just went to YouTube for like
consultation, honestly,
3
You don't even
hours,
need that much.
3 hours, like have someone go on an hour a day to talk about their movies and go to everywhere, right? Don't just go to the
Go to
places that I
Cinema
like to go.
Sins.
Yeah.
Go to Cinema Sins. Go to Pitch Meeting. Go to Critical Drinker.
Go to Critical, go to Nerdrotic, go to G&G, and everyone too. Go to the left, go to the right, get all the criticisms and opinions. They would make really good fucking movies. They would make great movies because they would sit there and be like, okay, this side hates this side hates this. Let's find a happy medium.
Yeah. Just don't include it. You don't have to worry about it.
Yep. So
90% of the time.
Nature coming in saying Doctor Doom is my favorite Marvel character. Got to pass on Fantastic Four because Pedro was asked. That's fair. Listen, they're about to fuck up my Silver Surfer by making her female. That's my favorite. So,
but she was in half an issue.
Yeah, it's not like his whole character isn't based around saving a woman. I'm sorry. So Nature comes in. Wasn't Pedro like the fourth or fifth guy down the line? All their top choices passed.
I
would
I
love to know that, but I
wouldn't
have
be
no
surprised.
idea. Honestly, I don't know. But maybe yes, maybe no, because he was already in the Disney circle, right? He was Mando. So he was already there. So they're probably like, you're already in the studio. Just go play another character. You're Pedro Pascal.
He peaked when they crushed his head on Game of Thrones.
I mean, yeah, which honestly was a really good scene. He was a great prince. And he was someone too. You didn't want him to die. And then when he did, you're just like, the fuck, I hate you, George.
Has he played any other character that you've been that invested in?
Besides the meme of him looking like a retard at Nick Cage, no. That's the only thing that he has like redeeming value in it.
I honestly haven't seen that much Pedro Pascal. I just don't watch the stuff he's in. Because I had no interest for The Last of Us because I never even played the games. So like I had no reason to watch the show. I heard he's good in it, but I don't really care.
I borrowed the original Last of Us from one of your friends and then never gave it back to him. And then the PlayStation 3 became obsolete and he told me to keep it. I never finished it either. Sorry, James, you were going to say something.
I don't remember. Yeah, I was saying The Last of Us. He was fine in it.
Yeah,
that whole show was just meh.
So I think we're going to put a bow on Marvel right now because I think, one of the things we're going to ask is if they could change. And I think all three of us here are like, no, Marvel and DC aren't going to change. I don't think James Gunn is going to change much. I think he's going to make them mildly better, more palatable, but I don't think he's going to save DC. I don't know if they're saving the comic book genre besides resetting and quite literally just like remaking the first 6 movies of Marvel.
They need to take 10 years off.
Yeah.
And they're not going to. It's too much of a cash cow still. It really is.
Well, I mean, look. Marvel Rivals has completely revitalized anyone liking Marvel. To be quite honest with you, James,
not a single American worked on it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Marvel Rivals is a big game. I've been playing the hell out of it. It's free to play. People actually like Marvel characters again. People are interested in reading the comics about Marvel characters. Like it genuinely has sparked interest. So
I can't believe you're not married.
Yeah, exactly. But
hey, I am married successfully, somewhat.
But like Marvel, we know they have the ability. They would have the ability to jump on this if they actually cared about.
So we're being honest, Dave. The people are going to find the comics that Squirrel Girl is in and Invisible Woman with their new outfit. Those are the ones that they're looking up. They don't give a fuck about any of the other ones. They're looking up those issues and those issues only. But anyway, we're going to jump on because we want to talk about everyone's favorite topic. The most important thing in the world happened recently. The Oscars.
Well, no, it didn't happen yet.
Oh, it didn't happen yet? No, it was the Grammys.
Happened.
I confuse them because they all suck.
The announcements.
The announcements.
Yeah.
And Nate coming in with Asian furry Marvel. Yes. Listen, all the Sonic fans started playing Marvel Rivals for Squirrel Girl. Anyway, so these are the announcements for your best actor, actress, all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go down.
So quickly, James, did you look at these nominations and what are your feelings on some of them?
You know what? I didn't pay very close attention to him. Once I heard about what's the name of the movie? Amelia
Amelia
Perez.
Perez.
Amelia
Yep.
Perez.
Once I heard
Dave,
about that, and it
you want
got
to play the clip again,
13,
Dave?
No.
13 nominations, which I
Yep.
think ties for the most.
More.
Dig it.
It's more.
No, it's
I think
13.
is it 13? Is what did tie? Shawshank?
Didn't Lord of the Rings get 13?
I
Possibly.
think Fellowship might have, and I think was it Gone with the
No,
Wind?
Two Towers got the most.
No, Two Towers did not. I think Gone with the Wind had 13 as well.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and the most in a long time. And then I saw it's a movie that I haven't watched because
No one has.
no one who visits my website is looking for that movie,
Mhm.
so I don't have to spend the time watching that movie.
I would
Uh,
love to read a review. So can you please go watch that movie? Now I am requesting a formal Worth It
He
or
might,
Woke
he
review.
might need more requests in order to watch
Yeah.
that movie.
Where you at, Nate? McSquiggles, Mosin, back me up here.
Yeah. If I get enough subscribers, I'll
Yeah.
for that reason I'll do it. Yeah, but I did watch a couple of things about it. I watched Ben Shapiro talk about it, and he says
Mhm.
it's legitimately the worst movie he's ever seen. But just objectively, I think the Critical Drinker did something about it too.
Yeah,
He
came
did,
out pretty recently.
Neurotic did, but
They
a
said
few
it was
people, they put themselves through torture.
just said it was the worst ever. But the fact that that dude got Best Actress,
Right
the
here.
nominee for it. But the best thing about that, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the drama
Mhm.
around that guy,
Mhm.
but the best thing about him being nominated for Best Actress is that now some old tweets
Yep. Yep.
have surfaced.
When he was fairly based.
Yeah, yeah, where he says things
Yes.
like, "Hey, have you noticed that Islamic states don't really treat their women very
Yeah.
respectfully?"
Yeah.
Well, yes, I have. Well, that means that you hate everybody from who's Islamic. Yep, and you're a racist. And he said, "Hey, did you notice that not all cops are evil, and that
George Floyd.
George
You mentioned
Floyd,
George Floyd. Yep.
yeah, George Floyd was a lifelong criminal and
Yeah.
drug abuser, and so maybe that had something to do with it." Racist. You can't make this stuff up.
No, it's
They're just
hilarious.
eating their tail.
Mm-hmm.
The leftists. It's so much Schadenfreude. You just
So Dave, if you scroll up there, I'm pretty sure you're happy about one of the actresses nominated for Best Actress with You Like the Substance with Demi Moore. Go up.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's nominated and you like that movie a
I
lot.
love The Substance. I think
I-
it was a great fucking movie.
I missed that one.
Yeah, well, I'm a pretty big horror fan, so anything that has like something to do with horror, I usually try to watch it eventually. And I heard so much about The Substance that I had to watch it, and she really put on a fantastic performance in that movie.
And then you also
She's a
have
good actress.
Yeah,
Cynthia Erivo, from what I've heard, deserves that nomination with Wicked because I heard
I
Wicked
heard
was
she was
done very
in it.
good.
I haven't
And that
watched it, but I heard
Ariana
she was good in
Grande
it.
with supporting. It
Mhm.
wouldn't surprise me if they swept there, if they got supporting, and because
No,
Wicked,
no.
you think she's
My
what if
boy,
they get 13? What if
full
they get all
male
13?
sweep, full
Be
male
awesome.
sweep.
Oh my
Grande
God.
does not deserve it. She
You don't
was
think so?
she was significantly weaker
Okay.
in her role than Cynthia, in my
Mhm.
opinion. Cynthia made that movie.
Okay.
As
Awesome.
as obnoxious as I find her as a
Ability.
person in
But
any
sometimes
interview.
talent's talent.
Yeah, but you can't deny her talent. I mean, she's got a set of
She's the
pipes on her.
opposite of Rachel Zegler, who is obnoxious and hasn't been really good in any of her roles, as
Yeah.
opposed to Cynthia, who's obnoxious but talented.
You didn't like her in the Hunger Games with that accent? I'm from West Virginia.
Which sucks because the book was actually good. That
Was
the
it?
newest Hunger Games, yeah, I read it. It was a good book. It was a you want to find out about President Snow's an interesting character in the first three books and movies, and to delve into his life, why he became who he was. Actually, they did a really good job. She sucks, and they're supposed to be kind of like hokey and stuff like that. That's who they are, but it's like you never expect her to sound like Cousin Bill. Like, it's really fucking weird.
It was really, really odd choice, and she's the only one. You go to you go to that district. There's this whole district. She's the only one who's
And she's
talking
just
like
LARPing in
this.
the district.
He was 100%. And the thing that sucks too is though the only role, and I'll say this, the role that she was decent in was the Netflix movie that she was in. It was actually not bad. I remember, what was the name of it
I
with
don't
the
know.
monsters? It was basically like Brave, but a better story than Brave was from Disney. God, if I remember, I gotta look it up. But she was the lead actress in that, and she sang a few times, and she wasn't bad. She wasn't obnoxious. The movie was okay. It was the one John Lasseter's new studio, that he's
Oh,
in
Wish.
Skydance.
Yeah,
Not Wish.
not
Wish
Wish.
was Disney.
Yeah, Wish is Disney. Fuck. Either way, it
Uh,
doesn't matter.
but she wasn't
No.
bad in that, and so
Yeah.
it's like she has talent at times, but she's just a dumbass. Like,
Pretty obnoxious.
yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
It's
but
real bad.
we have the Oscars about to happen, and honestly, the only thing people have talked about is, like you said, Emilia Perez and all the controversy surrounding their leading female actress. Which, yet again, I hope he wins. I really do, because if you want a virtue signal and put him up there along with all the other fucking nominations for this movie no one's seen, give him the Oscar. Do
I
it.
think it'd be brilliant. Nobody does women better than men.
Yeah, it
Men
just
are
proved
better at being women than women. We
it. Just
really,
proved it.
I mean, they're not allowed to be better than women in sports anymore, thanks to Donald Trump. So at least
Yeah,
we could
true.
stop that. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that's sad too. She's gonna probably win. He's gonna win. Whatever the fuck it's going to win. Cousin, it's gonna win.
I hate it. It's so confusing.
But the
Yeah.
thing is, none of the other women are gonna say a fucking word. They're gonna seal it,
Oh, yeah, they're gonna
like little
clap
seals,
immediately.
and clap and be
Oh.
like, "This is such a big step for the trans community." As another female who probably was pretty damn good in her role got robbed of a nomination, and those four got robbed of a true opportunity to win. Now, I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope me or Cynthia wins, because I don't want a fucking dude to win a female role, even if these
No.
people are dumbasses.
No, the Oscars needs to be the clown show that it is.
It
It
already
needs
is.
to it needs to show what it's always been. All
Just
these
keep
people
going in the trajectory that they've been going. Just
Exactly.
collapse on top of themselves
Yes.
and go away.
Now,
Exactly.
one thing missing
Because
is
you-
in Best Documentary. I don't think we saw Am I Racist there. I don't think they got the nod. They tried to get in, but Am I Racist, the highest grossing documentary
Yeah.
of the year, did not make it, which
course
again
not.
already shows it's a clown show of what it fucking is, right?
I haven't watched them. I used to watch them religiously. I haven't sat. I mean, it was like a big deal. We'd sit down. We'd have a party. Sit
Yeah,
down
we
and
did
watch
too
the
when we were
Oscars.
younger.
I haven't done that since Denzel won for Training Day, and
Wow.
nothing
Wow.
nothing against Denzel because he's a great actor,
Mhm.
one of the best. And he did great in that movie, but he was not better than Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah,
Not
well,
even
Beautiful Mind. Yeah,
not
great
even
movie.
close. And they
And
were
it's a
up
better
against
movie
one
than
another.
Training Day by a lot.
By a lot. But Russell Crowe won the year before for Gladiator and didn't really deserve it.
Yeah.
Even though he was great in that movie. Nothing against that. It's a great movie. Love that movie.
Mhm.
But he didn't deserve Best Actor. You don't watch
No.
that movie because of his unbelievable performance. It's because it's as a whole a great movie.
Mhm.
And he was nominated for I think it's called The Insider the year before that. So he was nominated 3 years in a row, won the year before, and so you could just see they gave it to Denzel because he was due. It was his turn, and that for me that was the switch that I went, oh, this is all bullshit.
But you
Mhm.
know what though? What really got Russell Crowe anything was South Park with Russell Crowe fighting around the world. That man put him on the radar, and then the Oscar group was like, "Yes, this is our guy." And you know what? It's like, and that's what always annoys me about the Oscars too. They give it to people when they're due, not when they deserve it. And it's like Denzel has plenty of movies that he probably could have been up there and won Best Actor for,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Russell Crowe,
He's
especially in his
always the
prime,
best actor.
yeah. With like there's certain people that get it, like Scorsese. When Scorsese got his, it wasn't his best movie, and not even the best movie for when he got it. He had movies like basically every movie he did before that probably deserved it, but they do it when people are due instead of, and it's why it's a joke, right? And you know, it's something we used to gather around and watch. I used to remember watching when it was Bill Crystal, Whoopi
He was
Goldberg,
great.
and what was it, Robin Williams? When they no,
Mhm.
yeah, those
Could
three
be,
would
yeah.
host,
Yep.
and they
Yeah.
would just sit there, and they would. It was a comedy show,
They were
and now
entertaining.
they were
Yeah.
entertaining. They were really good. They made fun of everyone, and now it's just they're never going to bring Ricky Gervais back.
No.
Who they have that blonde chick who, what's her name now? Nikki Glazier,
Yeah.
whatever. She's hosting it, and she's not that funny.
They're so far up their own asses they can't
It's embarrassing.
have anybody funny or
Yeah,
entertaining. to
and
do
what
it.
also like back then, like you might have known a little bit about your celebrities, but you didn't know everything. Like in this day and age, and the pageantry and the entertainment and everything back then was,
Bigger,
it felt
bigger
like a
than
level
life.
up. It felt like something good. It felt like you're actually putting on this whole thing, and you could watch and enjoy it. Now it's just watching a bunch of people circle jerk. That's all. That's all it really is if you're going to watch it, and no
Yeah.
one wants to go see that, especially people who want to claim morality when they were letting Weinstein do whatever the hell he wanted.
And
That's
they knew about
100%
freak
true.
offs, and they knew
Yeah.
about Epstein Island. All these
Yeah.
people knew about all this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
when we were growing up, all we knew was we thought somebody was banging somebody else,
Exactly.
and so you fantasized about that. But that was all you knew about him. Now, yeah, you're right. It's just a room full of assholes.
Mm-hmm.
now here's a question with you, James. Do you think social media has had a lot to do with all the mystique being gone too? Because now we know who these people really are, what they think, what they say. Where before you maybe got an interview that they said something and then you kind of got to look at them, or if you were watching and you were the person that liked to listen to commentary, you got to know the directors a little bit better, right? So maybe you got that, but before there was a lot of mystique about the actors and actresses. We really
Oh,
didn't see much about them, and now you know everything about them all the time. They're posting on Instagram, X all the time. Like, we know so much. There is no more looking. We don't look up to these people anymore. You used to look up to actors and actresses. You
sure.
don't look
Mhm.
up to them anymore in the same way that we used to, outside of maybe the super talented ones that we still acknowledge their gift, right? Outside of that, they're just normal people, and that I think has killed the mystique of Hollywood.
Well, 100%, 100. I mean, look what we were talking about just a little bit ago
Mhm.
about that Amelia Perez actor. I
Yep.
mean, before, if somebody said something in passing to somebody else, which is that what that comment would have been.
Mhm.
That comment, he would have been talking to somebody at a party,
Yep.
and maybe it got to the tabloid after it got through 3 people,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and most people would dismiss it, and
Yep.
there's no proof of it.
Yep.
Now, not only do you have social media, but now you have AI where you can have it search and you can have it, you don't even have to be specific. Just find racist shit that
Yeah.
so and so said. And it,
Mhm.
there you go.
Mhm.
And also, I don't think Amelia Perez is as big of a deal. And we don't really give a shit as much because you find out later that, oh shit, that actor is actually trans. And then you kind of are just like, oh, and then you make a decision, do I want to go see it? And there's not all this buildup, right? Because they
Yeah.
weren't making as big of a deal about this shit either. Like one of our,
Wait,
David,
are
I know
you
our family's one of our
this is
favorite
very
movies.
important. This is very important. Are you saying that dude's passable?
No, not one bit. Not one bit. But there are really ugly women in the world. So, all right. So there are really ugly people. So you never know. You never know. I've been derailed.
Don't get caught out. Don't get caught out, man.
So this is a really important question for you that Nate has. I think this is the question of the night. James, what did you rate Brokeback Mountain?
I would say that would be an arguably 100% deep coal mining brown eye woke.
Before woke was a thing, right?
Way before woke was a thing, that was woke.
So
100%.
Nate, you go and say you didn't like
My
Nikki
sister-in-law
Glaser.
wanted me to go see that movie when it came out.
Really?
She's
Still
all
have never
hippie.
seen it.
She's all hippy dippy.
Yeah.
And I used to send her pictures on thanks. She lived in London for a while,
Mhm.
and I would send her a video of turkeys being slaughtered for Thanksgiving, and she was a vegetarian. And
That's awesome.
and she wanted me to go see that movie Brokeback Mountain. Oh, you should go see it. I said, I have no desire to go see this movie. Like, well,
Yeah.
how do you know if you don't try?
Pretty
Well,
easily, actually.
yeah, because buttholes don't turn me on, and I know that.
No one wants the chocolate starfish in this.
Yeah,
In
I
this
know
show.
that. I know that now,
Yeah.
and so seeing a romance about two sheep herders. Like,
that would rather fuck each other than their sheep. So
yeah,
I will proudly say I've never seen Brokeback and I've never seen The Notebook. Proudly say I've never seen both of those. And I
And
will not. And I'm happy my wife is not some super girly girl that's like you have to see it. I love her to death. But Nate, you go in here saying you didn't like Nikki Glazer on the roast of Tom Brady. She's a great roast comic. That's fine. You can be a great roast comic. I don't want to see you everywhere. Come out for your roasts and go the fuck away after that. Go do your shows that nobody knows about and then come back for roast. I don't need to see you at a award show. You're not going
well,
to say anything. You're not going to
and
say anything edgy. You're not Ricky Gervais. You're not actually that funny outside of making sexual jokes. Like we don't care.
well, the thing is, she's good on roast, but I think she's also willing to play ball and not going too far, and that's why they're fine with having her. So
And she's mildly attractive.
yeah, but she's willing to play ball with them in that aspect. But when she can go off, she will go off. So she's willing. I mean, she's making money off of it. I don't fucking
Yeah,
blame her.
good for
But
her.
she's willing to do that and play kind of in that term.
So I'm going to jump into our last thing. I'm going to let you go soon because you've been a trooper battling
Yes,
through,
yes.
feeling like crap. We really appreciate it. So as you are looking at the movies, obviously it's your job with the site to, watch as much as you can, put up these reviews and things like that. Do you see an actual shift coming? Because like I said, we joked around the beginning. Woke is dead. DEI is gone. ESG's gone. Blah, blah, blah. You're in it. You're seeing all these things. Is there a legitimate shift? Are we going to have to wait a few years to really find out? Because these things were obviously being made in the height of woke still. The movies we're seeing have been being made for the past 2 years. Woke was still a thing. In what you're seeing coming up in the future, do you think we are going to seeing a shift back to the mean a little bit?
no. Yeah, I know what
It's
you're talking.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I for a while there, I thought maybe we were, and I still think that some independent studios are going to be the way that we will see any real change. Angel Studios and whatnot.
Mhm.
Love Angel.
Yeah, I love Angel too, but even them, I think they need to step up a little bit more and maybe put out a little bit less and spend a little bit more on focusing on quality,
Mhm.
so that what their output is of equal quality to the mainstream instead of just, yeah, it's good and I
Yeah,
can
but
watch it, but there's to be a reason for other people to go see it too.
yep.
Um,
And I don't think they have as much money that they need because, I didn't know exactly when Cabrini came out. It's actually interested in Cabrini, and I had no
it's a
idea
good
it came
movie.
out. By the time I knew it was out, it was already gone. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like I was interested. And I thought the story of Mother Cabrini is a really good story. I know the story of it, and it was like that's one thing too, where it's like they need to, like you said, maybe focus their money a little bit better, make a little bit better product, and be better. Not try to rely on conservative talk show hosts to really prep your shit up because you're not reaching the rest of America.
yeah. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No,
Nice.
it's all
So,
good.
so yeah, so there's that. You also have the fact that now I've heard some rumblings that some stuff is happening in Marvel Studios,
Mhm.
that they're sort of dumping a lot of these writers and whatnot.
Mhm.
But you still have so many writers entrenched in all of these studios who are true believers
Yes.
and were raised up like this. I don't know where that talent gap is, where we can get people in who can actually write good stories again.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't see anything on the horizon. Maybe slight lessening. I wouldn't be surprised if we see less trans stuff. I think that'll be the big one because that one's the easiest to identify as insane and as insanity. So I think that's the
Mhm.
easiest one to sort of cut.
Yeah.
But I think the other stuff, the Overton window that you had mentioned earlier, has shifted so far in popular culture that I don't know that it'll ever be all the way weeded out.
We'll still see all the
Def-
girl boss shit and things like that.
it's definitely here to stay for a while.
Yeah.
Until there is somebody brave enough to have a princess who needs rescued and an actual manly hero come
Mhm.
out and unashamedly rescue her.
Yep.
And it's a good movie that does really well. Until that happens again, I don't think we're going to see a change for quite some time.
And that's unfortunate because if that movie was made and made well, it would sell like hotcakes because people love the epic tale of the hero saving somebody, anyone, and a love interest at most. Like that is huge. Like there's a reason why they were always the best stories. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm hoping that in 2, 3, 4 years after all these movies were already in pre-production, were already made, and they scrapped a lot of shit, that we could start to get back. I'm not looking at superhero movies to ever revamp. I think we're gonna go back to pre-Iron Man levels very soon, where you get good ones. You
Maybe
get
we'll
ones
get
that,
maybe we'll get comedies again.
oh my
Maybe
god.
that's something that actually fucking happens, and we
When
can
was
get
the
comedies
last
again.
actual comedy? I can't even remember like your level of
Back in
like
the
old,
back in
like
the dodgeball days, back in the day.
dodgeball, like yeah, this is the end, like old school. Like we haven't seen one of those. I think they tried with blockers. That I think it was the last actual attempt was blockers, where the families were trying to go in. I think that was and some Aubrey Plaza movies. They made Aubrey Plaza made a few raunchy ones. Um, they've but they're not good.
But
Like
they're
they're
not.
funny, but they're
But
not that
but the
funny.
thing is, and they're not even coming out at the same like pace that they were coming out. Comedies were all the time coming out. They were always trying to, entertain people. So you
Mhm.
might not like a certain comedy, but you might like another one that came out that year, right? So there was something that was just a mainstay of movies coming out, but they just
Always.
stopped.
There was always the big blockbuster and
Yes.
the big comedy
Yes.
coming out
Mhm.
side by side.
Mhm.
100%.
And the thing is, I think it became, and maybe we'll get some more back as people are becoming less offended or they're not giving a shit about offending people. We might get like maybe if we can convince Andrew Schultz to go do a fucking movie, right? If he can act like he would do something funny because he doesn't care. I watched him on Charlemagne describing, that he's never met a Democrat a man that's proud to be a Democrat that's over 5'9". I thought he was, and he just said that. And Charlemagne's like, I don't know if it's a height thing. You think they might be gay? And he's like, they're all power bottoms. He's like, all of them. Any guy that comes out that's a proud Democrat is under 5'9", and they're the bottoms. So
Just for the record, I'm 6'3".
just for the record, I am 5'9", but I'm not a Democrat. But something like that. We need some of these people who are big streamers and comedians that are coming back to making the rounds, right? Comedy on the stand-up stage is coming back. But we need like Dave Chappelle needs to go make How High too. Not How High. I mean, God, what the fuck was the movie he was in? Half
Have
Baked.
you
He needs to
yeah.
make Half Baked too. Like, and make it funny, not make it stupid. Like, the Wayans brothers need to get back
There
in. I
is
know they're making a
I
new
think there's
scary
another
movie, and
scary
I
movie.
hope
We'll
it's
see how
going
it
to do
goes.
well.
We'll see how it goes.
Are we going to see Shawn Wayans get pulled back by the dick of a clown under a fucking bed again? Like,
I don't
that
know.
was funny stuff. Like, there was dumb shit. So I am hoping. Nate G saying, cross your fingers for Happy Gilmore 2. I have
Yes, I forgot there was a thing. Ooh,
zero faith
yeah.
in Happy Gilmore 2. Because you want to know why? Because it's not original. That's the thing. Adam Sandler was great when he was making his SNL characters and the characters you heard on his fucking CDs. He was making movies out of them. The Waterboy was from a CD.
Mhm.
They're
Like,
all gonna laugh at you.
they're all,
Yeah.
no, they're all gonna laugh at you. Like, you know what he needs to do? Go back and make a movie about the fucking hypnotist, because that's one of the greatest skits of all time when the hypnotist is ripping ass and Adam Sandler's like, are you farting? He's like, no, that was you. We're working on honesty. Like, it is, people looked at his greatest album, like, was What the Hell Happened to Me. It was so good. So many good comedy skits there. And Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be fucking terrible. Okay. Like, let's be honest. It's going to be bad. They're going to try and rehash some old stuff and bury you and be like, hey, remember when, Chubbs lost his hand? Well, this
No,
guy's going to lose his foot.
no, the
Like,
member
You
berry
know,
that I
Drew Carey's gonna be in it, and he's gonna
yeah,
say something, and it's not gonna be as funny as The Price
Bob
is
Barker.
Wrong, bitch. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, the thing is, it would be a dark comedy moment, but if he were to actually like fuck around and like actually like act like he's digging up Bob Barker to fight him again or something like that. Like, if you're gonna member bury me, do something that dumb. Do something that ridiculous.
but his last attempt at an original funny comedy was That's My Boy with Andy Samberg, when Andy Samberg was the hot one.
I
And
forgot
it
that
was
was
not good. It was not that funny. I thought it was going to be
it
funny, but it wasn't.
it killed Andy Sandberg's trajectory.
Yeah.
100%.
He's
Killed his
never
career.
He's never gone anywhere except for 9-9.
And,
Yeah,
and listen,
yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's fucking hilarious, but it did it. He became a TV star, not a movie star, which he was well on the way to do. Lonely Island was massive. And all the things that he did with Dick in the Box and stuff with Justin Timberlake were
100%.
incredibly talented. But yeah, that's my boy, killed his whole career. And Adam Sandler then got a great big deal with Netflix. Grown Ups was funny for what it was, right? But it wasn't what we need young comics to make these raunchy ass college flicks, because that's all they were. They were college flicks. And I mean, Hot Rod was 5 stars. I actually never got around to watching Hot Rod.
Yeah, I never watched. I've seen like a little bit of it, but I haven't seen a lot of it.
But the thing is, by the time Hot Rod came out, Nate, I don't think anybody gave a fuck about comedies anymore. And I think
Hot Rod
was that with Napoleon Dynamite? Was he in that one?
No,
it wasn't Napoleon Dynamite, but I think it was the actor.
Yeah, Hot Rod was 2007.
Yeah,
I just don't. That one just didn't reach the zeitgeist of like people wanting to watch it. I don't know why.
Honestly, though, This Is the End was like probably the last like funny comedy like that, because I just remember Michael Cera slapping Rihanna's ass, and is like, why the hell is this guy be allowed in here anymore? And then he falls down the pit of death. Like, there was a lot of funny moments in This Is the End. Hot Tub Time Machine, I don't know if that was around that time. That was funny. But we need these really stupid funny comedies to come back, like Dave said, because I think that would heal the world a lot, because they made fun of everything.
You showed that you could laugh at stuff. Nobody laughs at anything anymore.
Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay as one of the greatest things of all time, because that George Bush impersonator was the best one I've ever seen in my life. And this was at a time where I've always been a conservative. I actually liked George Bush at the time. But watching him make fun of him, and he's like, oh, it's Dick Cheney. I'm scared as hell of that guy. Let me get the fuck out of here. Like,
you gotta have your cock meat sandwich.
Yeah. But I plead the fifth. Why in the hell is your ass so dirty? Don't you wipe with the 2 Jewish guys? Like, there were so many quotes from Guantanamo Bay. That was such an underrated movie. But oh man, we can go on forever. But yeah, we need to get this back. Danny McBride and Bill Hader. Okay, I will go back and watch Hot Rod, because I like those 2 guys. I do like Danny McBride and Bill Hader. So
I just don't think they can pull it together anymore for funny.
But who's young, right? You look at the cast of SNL. Like, I watched the beginning of SNL by accident the other day. It was just on after something I was watching, and the first skit was them making fun of MSNBC, which I was like, okay, MSNBC deserves to get made fun of. They did a really good job with it. It was a funny skit. They were trying to be serious. It was Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, who they kept calling Rachel Maddow because they have the same haircut. They were like making fun of Joy Reid. They made fun of all of them. Their main people. And basically what the thing was, as they're trying to do hard-hitting journalism, they would stop every time Trump tweeted or said anything. And that was all they could do, was only do Trump. And it was great. It was funny. Wow. And then it was really good. Great skit. And then Then there was a Dave Chappelle monologue, which was good. He's funny, right? Dave Chappelle's funny. And, Dave Chappelle's not a conservative. He's a little woke himself, but he's funny as shit. I could deal with that. And then after that, the opening scene came up, like the intro for SNL. And they always they do the little introductory to all the comedians, right? I knew like no one besides Kenan Thompson and the 2 motherfuckers that do the Weekend Report.
Right.
It's weird that Kenan's still there.
He's the vet.
Yeah, he's been there for over a decade. It's just weird that he's still there.
He's funny. I mean, Kenan Thompson's funny. I like Kenan Thompson.
He's fun. He always has a good attitude. He always looks like he's having fun.
Yes.
And that's kept him on there for a long time. And the fact that nobody else wants him to do anything else. He's got a family to provide for.
Yeah.
And they actually pay. From my understanding, I listened to Dana Carvey and David Spade's Fly.
Which I hear is an incredible podcast. I hear they are funny as hell.
I skip over the ones that I don't want to hear, but they talk about how they didn't get paid shit. And these guys nowadays seem to get paid halfway decent. They can actually live off of it. Yeah.
It's good, but I knew none of them. Like, I knew none of the comedians outside of like 3 people. And it's like, for me, it's like, I don't want to watch.
That used to be my jam. I knew every comedian who was out there.
Exactly.
Well,
and because you wanted
SNL,
to know them.
Yeah, and it was where the branching off for comedians came from, right? You basically went to SNL, then you became really fucking big because everyone watched SNL, and then you made movies and shit.
And the thing is, like, when someone new was there, it was like, okay, I want to know who they are. Let's see if they're talented. Let's see if they can keep up. And if they could, okay, now I'm going to invest myself in whatever else that comedian does. So now it's so sad. All of these staples. Can we bring Mad TV back? And no, actually, fuck all that. Can the Wayans just bring back In Living Color? Can we please? Jim Carrey's coming back. The Wayans are still there. They're still funny as hell. They're all still alive. Can we just bring back In Living Color and then bring in another funny ass group of black people that's not Nick Cannon, because Wild and Out sucks and Matt Rife being the token white sucks, and let's just bring back another group of funny black young comedians, that one token white guy, pass the torch, and let's bring all this shit back. Because In Living Color, I will go to my grave, it was better than SNL and Mad TV. I fucking loved In Living Color.
Don't tempt my tummy with the taste of nuts and honey.
There you go. I love it. Got a real fan here. But all right, we're going to get to a few more comments and then we're going to get out of here. So Nate, you giving us a little synopsis. Andy Samberg is a stuntman that had to raise funds through stunt to fight his dying stepdad to the death. I actually love that premise. Okay, I will watch that. Coming in again, same with Stiller, but how many epic comedies did he make? He's a Mount Rushmore comedic comedy guy, woke as hell, but stands up for Tropic Thunder. And here's the thing, though. Tropic Thunder was funny because it was all stereotypes and nobody took it seriously. That's the thing. Like, Robert Downey was obviously making fun of blackface. Like, that's the whole purpose. And that was fine. We all understood that. Jack Black telling him...
Yeah, we were in on the joke.
Yeah.
We're adults. We're adults. We all know.
Yes. And it's like, in Ben Stiller, yes, he's had so many roles. And people go... I go back to fucking Heavyweights. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, was him in Heavyweights. Like, he's been so good. So, yeah, you should defend those things. Comedies are meant to be offensive. That's the point. And they're meant to build and fuck with stereotypes. That is the point of comedy. Because stereotypes have a sliver of truth, but they're mostly wrong. And that's why you make fun of them.
Yeah.
So Nate, you coming in. Glad Keenan and Kel got back together. Kel is very religious now. He fucking better have been. The guy was on a terrible track. He needed to be saved.
Oh, really? Was he?
Yeah. He fell off after Keenan and Kel. I don't think he ever got to like the point of like death, but I know he got into some shit, lost all of his money they made from the Nickelodeon stuff. And they made Good Burger 2. And he's been like, he got like better. And they made Good Burger 2, which wasn't great, but got him back into it. And I think Kel comes in every once in a while on SNL now, from what I know. So,
wow, lost all that money from Nickelodeon. You spent all those years getting molested and you got nothing to show for it.
I mean, that's
and possibly why he's so fucked up, right? Like, there you go. So Matt TV was amazing.
Maybe Keenan, they didn't mess with him because he was on the chubby side.
There's a possibility of it, to be quite honest.
Keenan maybe had parents, and you notice the ones that had parents were the ones that got the fuck out, got their kids out of there and stuff.
You know, all those pedos in Nickelodeon, they're fat phobic, every one of them.
And man, dude, you have to feel for Drake Bell after watching fucking Quiet on the Set, that the dude just got raped over and over and sodomized over and over. And like, you know, like for him to sit there and have any semblance of normalcy right now in his life, like fucking, you hear it, like it was hard to listen to Quiet on the Set when he was talking about that. Like that was a terrible, rough documentary. It really was.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, if you ever seen go watch the documentary Quiet on the Set. It was all about Dan Snyder and the shit that went on in Nickelodeon. And Drake Bell opens up in like one of the later episodes, basically talking about the fact that he was on a nightly basis raped by one of the people that worked there.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Where are their parents?
Thing is, so the father was super wary of this guy and wanted to keep Drake away. And the father and mother were separated. And Drake Bell at the time had become a star and had requested that he does not want his dad to be with him anymore, does not want him to take him. And his dad, being a father and obviously being divorced, was said, whatever, and told the wife to keep him away from this specific guy. What did the wife do? He said, only drive him. She allowed Drake Bell to be with this guy a ton. And this guy ended up constantly sodomizing and raping him to the point where the only way people found out about this, and I'm giving a synopsis, but still go watch it because it's heartbreaking. But he was at a girlfriend's house and this guy kept constantly calling him to the point where the mother of the girlfriend is like, this is not normal behavior for a grown man. And Drake Bell told her everything. And that's how it all got revealed. Wow. And the fucked up part is you'll see in there are people in Nickelodeon that come to this man's defense saying he would never, while Drake Bell is sitting on the other side of the fucking courtroom. These people are on the other side defending this guy.
Wow.
And that's Hollywood in a nutshell.
You know, he's not alone at all.
No. And that's so I do recommend highly, if no one has seen Quiet on the Set yet, 100% go watch it. You know, it has an agenda. It's trying to fucking go at Dan Snyder. I don't know if it's Dan Snyder. I think that might have been his name.
It should be Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider was
not Snyder. Dan Schneider. Yeah,
he was Drake and Josh. He was iCarly. He was
a lot. And And yeah, I highly recommend it because you get the dark underbelly, and you know it's just scratching the surface of what actually goes on to all these child actors, and obviously grown ass women with Harvey Weinstein, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. Hollywood actually, they should evacuate it and actually finish burning the actual fucking actual movie making side of Hollywood down. Leave the houses, dude, burn all the fucking studios
Yeah.
and all those. Like they all need to be raised because the people are terrible. Last few comments here. Mad TV was amazing. Will Sasso, Mike McDonald, the depressed Persian tow truck man. Yeah, they gave us some classics. And then Nachi saying, look at Amanda Bynes now. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was one of the ones that was, she was funny too. She was legitimately funny, especially for a kid.
Amanda show,
The
man.
Amanda show. Amanda, please. Like all, and even just all that was a great sketch comedy show. But I digress. So, all right. This was a freaking blast, James.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you so much for toughing it out, coming through. We got to bring you back in when you're feeling a
please.
little bit better.
Great.
But this was lots of fun picking your brain. For everyone that, doesn't know, definitely go go on Worth It or Woke. It is worth becoming a member there. You get great reviews. You get the opinions of James, who obviously is fantastic. He does the work. He watches the movies, writes the reviews. It's fantastic. And it's from a great perspective. And it's really fun. He covers all the big ones there. So definitely go over there. You could follow them on both Instagram and X at Worth It or Woke. It's, really cool. I make sure I go there to check things out before I go and see a movie. He's one of my stops with, all the, some other streamers and stuff like that. But that's one of my stops. And you could see, Dave, go back up to those plans.
Might be.
You have the basic right there, the $0, right? Like you could do that. You could do the VIP standard. You could do the VIP premium. So you have options here. You don't have to go, crazy. I would appreciate if you support, right? You have a deal right now. Definitely go support, because if you support, you get better things and you get more access and things like that. But, anything else, James, anything you want to add to that?
Well, in addition to the deal that we've got going on with the 2 months free off of the monthly or 20% off the annual, our annual subscribers get a annual vacation. It's a real deal. There are 12 different destinations to pick from all over the world. Years ago, for another business, I partnered with a company that fills surplus hotel rooms across the world.
Nice.
And so, so every year I can issue you a voucher for definitely 2 adults. Sometimes it's 2 adults and 2 kids for a hotel stay in Hawaii, Las Vegas, Rome. There's all kinds of great destinations.
So go down again real quick. It pays for itself. So look at this right here. You have, you can get your annual membership, whatever, do the math here, and it pays for itself, man. Like in the end, that's pretty sweet. I like that. That's really cool. That is really, really cool. So once again, James, we appreciate it all.
Yes.
You're awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
What you guys do in Worth It or Woke, I am forever grateful that, number one, you even watched the show many moons ago. Like, that is number one, that we appreciate that you took the time to jump on and watch. And number two, that you took the time to comment and chastise us because we didn't use you. And, we just are grateful for you to come around. And you had our support before because we like what you did there. And you have it even more and tenfold now. So,
well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So for us, we'll be back next week. Dave won't be here, but I will be.
Yes.
Dave, you're at work, right? Next Wednesday? You
Yep.
suck.
Get it together, honestly. Dave.
I know. I can't believe I'm working night shift, man. It's
jerk. He killed it. He wasn't working night shift for the longest time. The show was going great. Then all of a sudden he works night shift. He can only be here every other Wednesday. He leaves me alone.
Worth It or Woke was supposed to be a thing that me and my brother were doing together, and here I am.
I have to force David around. In the beginning, I was like, "You're doing a show with me." I was like, "Okay," and then I was like, "We're starting to interview guests." Like, okay, and then he actually started doing it. And you enjoy interviewing guests, don't you? Now, David?
Yes, of course. It's a great time tonight with James.
So there we go.
Well, my brother, he was like, "I'm just so busy, I can't do it." And then I started doing interviews on Fox News and whatnot. And he's like, "Well, hey, what do you think about, do you need any help right now?"
And there's probably a part of you that's like, "Yeah, I still fucking need you. Doing a lot of work." Yes. But all right, so we'll be back next week. I'll be back. Another great guest coming back. Go find us at the Alex Cuesta Show everywhere you can find it, all the social media stuff there. Like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. 5 stars. We'll be back. I will see everybody next week. David will be here in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So